Good evening, my drops of shadow, and welcome to episode 30 of Into the Shadows. It's a very wonderful, wonderful Christmas day, and I'm so happy to have you all here. Some of you may notice a little bit of a wardrobe change, and I felt that since it was festive, I might as well look the part, as it were. So, let's us, of course, run through our normal routine, as it were, and see what we can do to make it as wonderful a gift giving day as it is for all. So, tonight, hopefully, if you haven't already, buy one of the Kinko Strong t shirts. Make sure the Kinko doesn't have any medical bills to worry about, and that recovery is the only concern upon his mind, and hopefully returns to us in 2021 stronger, more motivated, and the great and powerful orange chicken that he is. Secondly, hopefully, I have your attention enough to convince you to download the Live 365 app so you can continue to listen to us here at Hellfire Radio everywhere you go. We've got some great programming lined up for the new year, and I feel that it would benefit you most, if you will, to be there. We also have plenty of programming on hellfireradio.com, the Instagram, the YouTube page, as well as here on Facebook Live. And I'm so thankful to have every single one of you here tonight. So, let us, by way, see how many drops of darkness I have with me tonight. We have Elizabeth and Tristan. It has been quite a while since I've seen you. Beth, always good to see you. And Tyler, yes. Ronald, as always, a wonderful surprise to see you. Yes, tonight we're going to be talking about the entity that is known as Krampus. Old Scratch in the holiday parlance. So, let us delve in a little bit into this particular legend, as it were. Yes. So, some of you may be wondering who is Krampus? I've never heard of this before. Some of you may have if you've been enjoying a little bit of the horror cinema, as it has gained a sense of popularity and drew attention to such a creature. Well, Krampus is essentially the anti-Claus, not the Santa Claus, the anti-Claus. It was an entity, a half goat, half man, half demon. Yes, three halves. Why? Because it's Christmas. And would go from home to home, giving very simple gifts to children. Yes, simple gifts. But to those that were naughty, and I know there's a considerable number of you that are naughty, he would leave a switch, a branch, for parents to discipline their children rather abruptly. Yet there are some legends that indicate that rather than let the parents do it, he would. Or, even more so, snatch the children up in their beds, throw them into his sack, bring them back to his lair, surmisedly to ingest them effectively, like a very wonderful Thanksgiving meal that so many of us have only for Christmas, perhaps with all the fixings and boughs of holly. I find that to be a rather delicious meal. So, let us discuss, shall we, what exactly it is that draws people to the particular aspects and fears of such an entity. I'm curious how many of you are aware that even in the most jolly of holidays, it has its dark side. So with Krampus, we have the idea of something that's good, the Santa Claus, which that individual last night, the rant commander, pointed out was in fact the Dark Lord himself, Cthulhu. We should name it Cthulhumas. I find that to be rather delightful. Cthulhumas, yes. So, imagine, if you will, wondering if you're going to be getting jolly old Saint Nick or the Krampus. I feel that he may be Krampusing my style a little bit, competing to see who would be the most evil. Perhaps. You know, I find many times that such creatures exist in all forms of literature. The dark side, the other half of the rather shady coin. There's always a shadow cast in the midst of the light. And I felt that tonight my wardrobe depicted as such. Here I am, draped in white, and yet you still have me underneath it all. The embodiment of darkness itself, yes. So, as we are continuing to converse on this wonderful, wonderful subject, I'm hoping that you're sharing this out to groups and timelines, doing your best to perhaps spread the holiday cheer. Let it be a gift to me to allow me to continue to give a gift to you. Yes. So let us continue. What we could do is converse further on the idea of a child being kidnapped. Now, children themselves would be terrified, basically an embodiment of a bogeyman coming into their beds at night to snatch them up. Of course, this would terrify a child in the most extreme of manners. Gabby, so happy to see you making it in. But then you have the other rather peculiar fear. The idea of a creature facilitating physical or corporal punishment upon a child, which to many is a fear in of itself. Such a creature to help parents to discipline. Many of us growing up knew full well the terror that parents can inspire when displeased. And now we have an entity on a day that is meant to be jolly, being one that completely and totally counters that in the most blatantly violent. Yes, blatantly violent. Forgive me. Things have a funny way of just tickling my funny bone, as non-existent as it is. And I am hoping that many of you had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas holiday. Having a little bit of issue with the chat. I think it is frozen. Let me take a look. Trying to find my broadcast is almost as difficult as trying to find the Krampus's lair. Trying to type this in. All right, there we go. All right, it's moving. It's just a lot of folks seem to be entertained by my wonderful face. Or maybe it's the fact that the white suit is throwing you off so much. But seriously, though, such a creature has ways of really inspiring terror. And the idea that this creature itself could actually instill such punishment upon the children themselves, that in of itself could be terrifying. Elizabeth, you are too kind. But such creatures. You see, one may argue that the idea of the creature facilitating discipline is more terrifying than being snatched up, at least to children. However, to parents, of course, the idea of a child being suddenly pulled off and taken in the night when you most expect them to not only be present, but be present and boisterous. That, oh, that could seriously throw one's emotional stability into a spiral. I am doing well, Sheena. Thank you for asking. I'm hoping everybody else's Christmas has been well. It is a wonderful thing to see you all here, at least joining me. I did not expect so many to be here. I know that a considerable number of you are of family, and as such, would have been up right when the sun rose. So to be here, I consider this to be a gift to me. So thank you all for being here. But Christmas with Krampus, ooh, that is a terrifying idea, I feel. So, I am really, truly curious. Ah, Carleen, my Canadian, such a wonderful, wonderful seeing you here. You know, I'm curious. Ruth, also wonderful to see you. So glad to see you up here. Yes. It is always wonderful to see so many of my drops of shadow coming out from underneath the floorboards to terrify. For tonight we are talking about He Who Is, the Shaded One himself. We are speaking, of course, of Krampus. Now, I've seen several depictions of an individual with horns. I've seen several different depictions of a beastly creature reaching into children's bedrooms from the shade of corners, stuffing them within sacks, and carrying it off to its lair. I unfortunately did not have the pleasure of catching the cinematic depiction, although I feel that I should, and I have been advised to, if anything, to make it a regular viewing. Oh, I eagerly anticipate. But as it is, it was not in the cards, at least this year. But so much more has been. If you think about it, such creatures that exist in the shadows to snatch away children, the witch of Hansel and Gretel, the darkness of Rumpelstiltskin, such old legends of the old world, creatures such as I, a vampire, seeking to corrupt and feast upon the innocents. Yes, it is an interesting idea. It is something that's prevalent amongst many, I feel. Yes, yes, everybody cheated Rumpelstiltskin. Rather interesting colleague. He never shuts up about it. But with Krampus, I think of another aspect of it that may not be nearly as terrifying, at least to some segment of the population. If anything, it could be considered alluring. He who uses switches and branches to strike upon the backs of those deemed too naughty. And let's face it, there are a considerable number of you that fit that list. But that brings forth an implication, a concept, an idea, a thought, a process that he's always watching and waiting for the opportunity to catch you when you least suspect. Something creeping within the shadows themselves, my realm. That which you have to ask yourself, is he watching you now? Has the clock reset? Is he judging you? Is his judgment of you going to go the other way? I find that to be a rather intoxicating idea. So, what do you think? Do you think such a creature not only exists, but would you seal your fireplace to prevent him entry? Or would you welcome him with open arms? That is key. And if you think he's only going to go after children, think of this for a moment. When does the line be drawn between a child and a child of someone? Because after all, we are all somebody's spawn and progeny, aren't we? Perhaps you are still someone's kid. And when that gets taken into account, are you safe? I know there are so many of you there, existing within the realm of Christmas itself, and there are so many of you of a darker soul that could seriously use a little bit of enjoyment in your lives. And I think the Krampus certainly fits that bill. Give me one moment. I have a fan actually contacting me asking, oh my goodness, I can't catch on to the stream itself, please. So I'm doing what I can to remedy that swiftly. Give me but one moment, and I promise you, it will be rather delightful. La da dee, la da da, da da. See, I love introducing people to things. But in all honesty, I embrace it. The darkness of fear is so alluring, especially in this season. We think about so many different things. You know, some of the other legends out there, it's something here that many of us tap into. I feel that such a defining moment or concept or an idea or thought or a process is something that we all crave, as it were, to delve into such shadows of the mind and soul. And this season calls for it more than most, if only because the darkness is prevalent all year round. So, of course, when we have it, we must counterbalance, don't we? So we embrace entities such as the Krampus on a Christmas holiday just so that we can balance the night. So I am rather curious as to how everybody else feels on the subject. And in the meantime, if you feel that others may share the same thoughts, share this out to groups, share this out to timelines, share this to your friends, share this link everywhere. And I guarantee you, they will have the same truth that you do, especially on this gift-giving season. I see a defiance has entered the chat. My goodness, my dear, are you looking to try and break the Baron again? It will not happen. Not this time, nor any time prior or post. Although, I know full well that there are many that seek to break me. Sicily, I'm so glad to see you joining. You see, there are several evil things and dark things here along the season. I, in particular, managed to acquire these from an individual that refers to himself as the Rant Commander. This thing I hold, covered in glitter. Such an evil thing. It is glitter incarnate. No. Glitter is anathema to such a creature as I, for it gets everywhere. Although, I can certainly appreciate it. Defiance versus Krampus. My goodness. You see, Quack Quack would disagree with you, Defiance. Actually, no. Knowing Quack Quack, she'd probably sell the damn film rights. Oh, don't get me wrong, Cicely. I have quite a fondness for glitter. It's just glitter upon items that don't deserve it. I prefer glitter upon that which has earned it. Chris, I am so glad to see you joining us this evening. Welcome. I know you would pay for that fight, Elizabeth. It is a rather interesting concept of an idea, of a thought. But, you know, two pagan entities, and by pagan, I'm unfortunately using such a broad stroke, it would cause the universe to shake and quake. Oh my, Cicely. Everywhere? It is evil. So, oh, well, thank you very much, Chris. Such a lovely, lovely, lovely compliment. You see, the holidays bring forth such an imbalance. And I find that to be anathema to my existence. But, as with all things, a balance must be restored. So, when a balance is restored, it gets restored rather abruptly. Oh, my goodness. You know, folks, it's difficult to hold a British accent that long. And I'm so glad to see so many of you in here. Because, honestly, it's all y'all that keep me coming. Wendy, I'm so glad to see you. It's been a hot minute. You had a birthday fairly recently, didn't you? Oh, my goodness. Yes. It is Mr. Rogers' time, Elizabeth. Those of you that don't know, with all of my shows, the first half is me being who it is that I am. And then the second half is me at least engaging with every single one of you on a personal level. And I feel that given the Christmas season, it's damn difficult to get rid of this accent. Whew. And given the season, I honestly feel like, you know what? It's the most pertinent for me to get personal, which is... Ooh, that's going to be fun to wash out. Yes. Well, Happy belated to you, Wendy. I am so glad to see you at least coming in to say hi. Well, congratulations and happy birthday to your cousin, Gabby. I'm so happy that you, who are all my family, and the Drops of Shadow that tune into this show every Friday, and it is going to be every Friday. Although right now I'm in talks with upper management for the station to have this also be on Wednesdays. Would you all like to see me on a Wednesday night as well? You'll have the Rant Commander Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And you'll have me Wednesdays and Fridays. I think that would be fantastic. So, yes, it would be an awesome, 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 awesome thing. Yes. And for those of you wondering, is his voice really that deep? Yes, it is. It just so happens I tense up really, really easily. And have to. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, cash payments, one way or the other, please, by all means, ask. I have so many fans. It just makes me feel happy. And you know what, Cicely? I'll tell you this. All of my past broadcasts are available on the Hellfire Radio YouTube page, as well as the Hellfire Radio Facebook Live page, and my personal page at Hellfire for Baron Voltage. So this way you could always catch my previous episodes of Into the Shadows and The Killing Wall. Yeah, I could give Corpse Husband a run for his fucking money. Well, thank you, Wendy. I'm so happy to hear that. Perhaps I might sing an opening bar or two of one of the more prevalent Christmas songs that kind of fit the theme. Would you like that? Me to sing? Hmm? Oh, what is mine? I'm a Virgo, dear. I was born on 9/11, the day that the towers were struck. No, I wasn't born on that day. I turned 21 on the day the towers were struck. Rather unfortunately. I have to see the oils that you paint? My dear, if you're going to send me a painting, I would be curious to see how I might look in such a medium. Like the closest thing that I have to a legitimate artistic, like, depiction of me, outside of one of the pieces of fan art that one of my fans sent me, is a lovely little thing that was done by the Devil's Darkroom. It's a legitimate tintype, and if I can get that real quick, it is one of my most, yeah, I know, and I was in Jersey City at the time, so I actually got to see the towers with my own eyes being struck. It drove me nuts. I didn't get to celebrate, but I'll tell you this: my overall experience with things was insane. I don't know if this is going to come through or not. It hopefully will. Actual tintype. I showed this to my parents, and I told them that this was found in a bargain bin in Virginia. And they said, "Oh my goodness, it looks just like you. It's just the nose is different, or the hairline's a little off, or the jawline is so strange." It's like they legitimately thought it was somebody else. I told them the picture was taken in 1872. I almost didn't have the heart to tell them, "No, it's me. You don't recognize your own son's face. Thank you for that." But, you know, it was a nice little thing. And I would love to see myself in an artistic medium in some strange way. You know, an artist actually depicting me in oils. It'd throw me off so much. You know, because you guys already give me so much just by showing up. Yeah, my damn chin. Oof. But yes, it is. It is something else. I'm hoping some of you are having at least a decent Christmas. I know that one of you was unfortunately working. I know I was working, unfortunately. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Tristan. Not my favorite Joker, but definitely one of the better ones. Mark Hamill. And why? Because I met him. And on top of that, I sound like him. And on top of that, he said that I sound like him. Because sounding like Joker is something I've been known to do every once in a while. I know I've told the I'm the Joker story a couple of times on here, so I'm not going to do it again. But, you know, it's a thing. You know, just walking up and going, "I'm the Joker." "No, I'm the Joker." "Harley, we got ourselves an imposter." See, Tristan, when it comes to that in particular, I think it's a question of what Joker's being depicted. For instance, if you're talking about the original Cesar Romero Joker, Jack Nicholson pulled that off beautifully as a tribute to that. If you want to talk about the Killing Joke type Joker, Ledger owns that. Not Ledger. Hamill owns the shit out of that. If you want to talk about the more twisted one that is hyper criminalized, that one would be the Joker best shown. What's the word? What the fuck series was it? Death in the Family. That Joker is certainly Ledger Joker. So if you've got the variances there, the Phoenix Joker, ooh, that one's something else. I can. It's gonna blow my voice out, Carlene, but I can do it. Give me a second. Let me see if I can. Oh, nope, can't do it. Hurts a little too much right now. I gotta be really freaking hydrated to do that. There's a little bit of a fry to the vocal cords when you do that. With Heath Ledger Joker, though, there is a significant amount of tensing to the voice. It's almost like somebody trying to impersonate Kermit the Frog. It's something a little bit something like this. Do you know how I got these scars? Why so serious? You gotta kind of like add an artificial lisp. You know? Don't be afraid to introduce a little bit of anarchy. It's not about the money. You know, it's that to the voice itself that gives you that Ledger style Joker. You know, my years of voice acting have taught me to be able to twist the voice a little bit. Yeah, he did. He seriously worked the scars perfectly. It certainly owned up to it. My favorite bit was his reaction when he was walking out of the hospital. Apparently, that was ad-libbed. He legit thought that the special effects people were going to do the classic walking away from the hospital while it blows up behind him kind of thing. You know, the explosion behind thing. He thought that's what was going to happen. But when it didn't blow up, he turned around and he started futzing with the controller. He's like, and then all of a sudden it went off and he freaked the fuck out. My father was a drinker. He was rather violent whenever he came home. Let's put a smile on that face. I liked it when Hamill did the Why So Serious monologue. That was very well done. And I wish that Ledger was still alive so that he could do the Joker eulogy of Batman. That would have been fucking epic. The dueling Jokers. I say, since Nicholson is still alive, put him in the Joker makeup, put Ledger in the Joker makeup, and then put Hamill in Joker makeup. And have all three do the storyline of the three Jokers. I don't know if any of you know this, but DC released a thing where, one, they revealed the Joker's actual name, and two, they revealed his origins, and three, we saw the death of two of the most prominent. And in the comic series, all three did bro down hard. I'll tell you this. Jason Todd got his freaking payback. He put one right through that Joker's head. So that Joker is dead. The Death in the Family Joker is dead. The Joker that was the one that... Oh, God. The one that first always seemed to... it's the same Joker from Killing Joke. That was the original Joker. That is the Joker's origin story. The one where it was a failed comedian that turned to crime, was abusive to his wife and their newborn. So Batman gave the kid and the wife to the cops to hide up in like Alaska. And it was revealed. He knew what the Joker's name was. And the funny part is how he revealed that he knew it too. Barbara Gordon flat out said, "So do you know the Joker's true name? Did the Mobius chair tell you?" And he said, "Barbara, I didn't need the Mobius chair to know who Joker's real name is. I've known this whole time. I'm the world's greatest detective. Do you think I wouldn't have figured it out?" So yeah, he knew. It's just he never put it on record because he knew if he did, then it wouldn't be long before other criminals would try and track down who was the Joker's wife and the kid, make it an actual thing, and end up putting the kid through God knows how much trauma. The Bruce Wayne Foundation funded their entire lives. They put them in WITSEC. So, yeah, it was revealed. The Killing Joke Joker, the one that put the bullet through Barbara Gordon's back, was the original first Joker. Revealed. And they were known as the three Jokers. You had the criminal, the comedian, and the sadist. The sadist is the one that was the original Joker. The criminal is the one that killed Jason Todd and eventually forced him to become the Red Hood. And the comedian one was the one that was always making Joker fish. You know, the one with the witty props. That was the Joker. That was the comedian one. I think the man's name was Joe Kerr. And I'm not that much of a DC fan, but the Joker is such a iconic character that you can't help but, you know, be enthralled. I mean, there's only one character that was mysterious on their origins other than the Joker that everybody wanted to know, and it was Wolverine's. And about a good 10 years ago, they finally revealed his origins, who he was, where he came from, and what the deal was with that. Wolverine's actual name is James Howlett. He was born in like the 1850s in, I think, Manitoba, Canada. And his father was the farmhand of the Howlett estate. And Wolverine's mother had an affair and got pregnant. Wolverine, his mutation came out as the claws and the immune system. That was the whole bit. And he actually killed his father, his biological father. It was the first person that he ever used the claws on. So it was kind of interesting to read up on that. His name is James Howlett III. And I'm big into comics, mostly because you want to know what it's a form of literature that's gotten overlooked over the decades, you know, and it was seen as kid stuff. But whenever you get a graphic novel in hand and you see the depictions of the growth and evolution of characters, you get enthralled. Because we're talking, the introduction of Wolverine was in the early 60s, and they only revealed it like 10 years ago. So you're thinking over 50 years before they finally revealed his origins. And about a good 25 years ago, they revealed that the adamantium skeleton was not what his claws were made of. He was born with the claws. The claws are actually bone. But it's interesting, to say the least. And the first person that Wolverine ever fought was the Hulk. Actually, his premiere comic was one of the Hulk comics. The Mandela Effect. It's an interesting concept. It's a psychological concept too, mostly because it's what happens when we realize that our brains filled in a gap. Having being a hypnotist, I've studied enough psychology to kind of recognize why the Mandela Effect happens. To give you a good example, Berenstain Bears. Okay, a lot of people figured it was STEIN. The thing is that most people don't have enough of an attention span to actually see the entirety of the spelling of something. They just see something that looks like it should say Steen, and they fill in the gap until they realize, oh, it's STAIN, not STEIN. This must be something that changed. It's a glitch in the matrix. Wah! No. It's a psychological effect, but it's a good one to exploit whenever you're looking to screw with somebody. It's great. For those of you who don't know what the Mandela Effect is, it's named off the idea that Nelson Mandela, a lot of people didn't know that he was released from prison, even though it was a fairly big deal in the news. A lot of people thought that he had died years ago. A lot of people thought that he's been alive and ruling things for a while in South Africa. No problem, Carlene. You hit the sheets, sleep well, and, hopefully I'll see you on Monday for the next episode of The Killing Wall. But thank you for tuning in. Yes, they are, Mike. And I'm so glad to see you popping in, too. Thank you. Just, I'm thrilled to see you all here because you guys are basically family to me. You're my Christmas family, all of you. And I'm thankful for each and every single one of you. No question. No question at all. And that's just it. A lot of people thought he was already dead. That's because the news outlets don't, mind you, the whole Nelson Mandela aspect. It was, I think, one of the first news stories that was, it was the last news story that was released before the internet became huge and everything could be confirmed. So with a lot of people, they were still basing their knowledge off of what they read in the newspapers or what they heard on the TV news. So when you hear the name Nelson Mandela, you're basing it off of what you may have read in the past or what you would have watched on a television newscast at one point. And that shit's always fuzzy. This was pre-internet. And thank you so much, Ruth, for loving my shows. I'm on here 5 nights a week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I actually won an award tonight. I won a couple awards tonight for Hellfire. Hellfire had its award ceremony for bands and whatnot, and some of their favorite shows. Scoops of Mischief did. And as it turns out, I won a few. Quack won one. A couple of other folks won one. I won from the top 5 shows of the year. Number 2 was The Killing Wall. Number 3 was Into the Shadows for the year as number of views and engagement. So it was like, wow, I was shook. And then also I got the Comeback Kid Award, which is somebody that when they started off, went kind of slow and then came back stronger than ever. And that made me feel all kinds of warm and fuzzy on the inside because I'm like, aw. But yeah, it was something rather pleasant to realize, that the effort's recognized. Very much so. And you know what? I couldn't have even remotely gotten that kind of recognition without any single one of you. So even though I won, I consider it that you guys won because you folks are what made it happen. It isn't me. It's all of you. All of you made this happen. All of you are responsible. All of you, I give a round of applause. Because, I don't think I'm all that much of a draw. I really don't. I don't think I'm all that entertaining, but you guys seem to think so. So I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing until they get rid of me. It's astounding to me that you folks are so supportive, and I'm thankful and grateful and surprised and mesmerized by it. So thank you all. And just as some of you may not know, by the end of the year, I should have new teeth. Finally. And I'll be able to smile again. Finally. And nothing in this world would give me greater happiness than to be able to do so again. So I thank every single one of you for that too. For those of you that want to reach out to me directly, I do have a performer Facebook account. So you can reach me on, here we go. That's the information there. Just look up Baron Voltage and you'll spot me. I'm there. You know, if you want to talk on Facebook Messenger, I'm happy as fuck to do that. I'm happy as fuck to communicate with you guys via email. If you got a show idea or something, oh, well, thank you, Ruth. I'm happy to do it. And I can't wait. You want to what? I'm thinking when it happens, I'm going to make that a special. I'm going to do the unboxing on air specifically because chances are they're going to arrive while I'm at work. And I think I owe it to you guys to wear them for the first time for you, every single one of you, because you guys mean that much to me, and I would not have been able to get them without you. I would not have been able to have a smile again without any of you. So thank you, truly, from the bottom. Thank you. Guy does Hollywood fangs, for God's sakes. Does them for movies, and he's making me a full set above and below of actual teeth to slip over my bad ones. So I'll have fangs again. I will have teeth again, as opposed to these things. They're basically broken, cracked, falling apart, and painful. You know, that's because of all of you. All of you. On that note, I want to wish every single one of you and hope that you had an awesome Christmas. A Yule that is going to be remembered, and whatever other holidays you may be celebrating this time of the month. Thank you, all of you, for making mine special. Y'all, my family. Please be safe out there. Please be kind out there. If you want to reach me, you know how to get a hold of me. Thank you again. Have a very awesome night, my wonderful shadows. And I wouldn't be able to end it unless I said my one thing that you know is me, is good night, sleep tight, and if you ask nicely, maybe I'll bite. Good night, all of you. Merry Christmas. Happy Yule.